Hello, guys, and welcome to the Spit Talk podcast. My name is Louie.
My name is Arid.
I'm Kyle.
I kind of messed up there. Did you see that?
Yeah, you did. I was like, I saw you like, why did oh hello? And I was like, okay. You messed up the goddamn intro.
Yeah, we got it. We
You
got it.
messed
though.
up
We
the
got it.
intro.
All right. So, well,
This is why we're hiring someone else to do our thing.
all right, guys.
Anyway.
Hi. How's everyone today? It's we're reviewing today. This is like our first review.
Wow.
So I know this is like
Wow.
Very
On time.
nostalgic.
On
very
time.
nostalgic. We might as well be in our fucking cars, right? Like reviewing this thing. All right, so today a movie came out, or not today, it came out a couple days ago. The new Marvel film, Shang-Chi, and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I would count it as the first actual MCU Phase 4 film because, just for the fact that Black Widow took place, I guess, like in the past. So, yeah, Shang-Chi. See, I gotta get used to saying how the movie says it, but it stars Simu Liu, Jung from Kim's Convenience for those who don't watch that, or for those that do watch that, I mean, and Tony Leung, and Aquafina, a bunch of other people, and this is all most like actually is it all Asian? I feel like it was all Asian cast, like for the most part,
Except
like the mains.
Drago. Yeah. The mains are all.
Oh yeah, except Drago and yeah. So, what do we think about the movie, guys? Like, what are we gonna?
Yeah.
How do
So
you wanna start?
it's crazy because Jan and I, we were able to watch it, and like that was like, honestly, I still kept it, like watch with a friend kind of thing with the Marvel film. So it was good that we did that. And
Mhm.
like we literally both walked out, and I was like, dude, you ready to go to your house and do the review? Like it literally felt like that. Like you
Yep.
ready to do it?
That's
Like it
cool.
was so weird that we
Yeah.
finally watched the movie with this whole pandemic and thing. But initially, we'll do not non-spoiler. Then we'll probably hit like spoiler territory later on. But non-spoiler, my initial reaction, it's an okay film. It's not like the best Marvel movie, but it's not the worst Marvel movie.
Mhm.
As I stand with that. So that's my take. I'm glad it brought like a little it was very different, so it kind of didn't feel like a Marvel movie as well.
Mhm.
But I guess I'll go deeper when we, I guess we'll go around. But that's, I guess, initial thoughts on what Shang-Chi is to me. So Kyle.
So I'm kind of on the same boat of you. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad. Like,
It was okay.
it was okay. Yeah, like I
It was
wanted to
okay.
like it because there were aspects of it that I liked, but then
Mhm.
like there were some parts I'm like, why? Like, man, like it just kind of
Yeah.
ruined it. And
Right.
it
Well, so
was a
yeah.
lot of back and forth of that, so I was kind of confused as like whether or not I should like it or like not like it. In the
Oh,
end,
yeah.
I kind of just settled. I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, I liked it for the most part. I thought it was good. And it did do. I think it's probably just something refreshing for me, like because I haven't been. I feel like I've been so forgiving with movies lately that I'm just like watching so passively that like I don't even like really analyze if it's good or bad or not. Because I remember like I enjoyed this one for what it was, and I guess we could get into like why we didn't or why we don't like some things
Yeah.
without going into spoilers first. But we'll go into spoilers on like the last half of this review. So who wants to start off with like what they
I
like?
guess, yeah, we can just go along. So I'll be honest. Shang-Chi kind of felt like I was watching the Mummy with Jet Li, like one of those or some Forbidden
Li?
Kingdom stuff.
That's a pretty
Yeah,
good.
the Mummy with
Oh, the freaking third
yeah,
one! I forgot Jet Li
yeah,
was
the
in
third
that.
or
Yeah,
fourth
yeah.
one, or yeah, something like that. It felt like that, or a better one is like Forbidden Kingdom. That's the realm that I was getting at when I was watching this film. So um and I guess the only thing that I was drawing back to why I like it is just because I know it's in the Marvel film. So I know it's Marvel, but my mindset is like, dude, this is Forbidden Kingdom. If it was an Asian person, honestly,
Right.
that
Yeah.
was my mindset. Like, cause I know we talked about like this on our podcast. So it has those tropes in there. So like the whole I gotta honor my family and all that other thing. It's all there in this film, and I've seen this before, and it was basically Forbidden Kingdom if it was Marvel. So that's why.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's Marvel, so like it's kind of like their own version, or like you know how like Marvel does like the version of like a political thriller, or like you know with Winter Soldier and you know Civil War and stuff. Like it's like that kind of genre, but it's like their version, and I feel like they they did the martial arts thing. I mean, they got fucking Michelle Yao for crying out
Yeah.
loud. You know the Crouching Tiger thing, and for me, I thought it was good, and I really liked a lot of the like this. A lot of the choreography was really good, and I honestly, yeah, I honestly felt like I wish it was more um grounded in a way, but I understand like you know it's the comics and whatnot, because my favorite fight scene and my favorite like
This is
scene
the
in
first
general,
one.
the first one, that one was really good.
We won't say it now, but the first one.
Yeah.
Really
So like from then on, after that, everything got really like it was like really fantastical, and like it delved deep into like you know the 10 rings and all that stuff. And I don't know what I expected, to be honest, but I remember that was my favorite like choreography, or like my favorite fight scene, the first one. And I do like some of the stuff like with the Asians, and how like you know like, or I guess like the old Asian thing, the like how it's kind of like for like how Black Panther had like for for that community and stuff. So it was nice. And yeah, but like I don't know, like Kyle, what do you think about like
So
or
like
what did you like?
I feel like we're all kind of on the same boat, but like I am kind of on the same boat with you guys, but I kind of look at it differently as to like why do I not like this movie? And like when I look back at it, it's like a lot of it was kind of meshing the Asian like film art with Western film art. They were like trying to mesh it so hard, but it just wasn't working. And I just felt like there was a lot of like you'd be like following this Asian trope, and then like they would go into this Western trope and be like, why are you doing this? Like it kind of felt back and forth for a lot of those things, which is why like I wasn't like as invested towards like a specific story or like where the plot was trying to go to. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
so yeah, like there were like some scenes where just like, oh wow, like this is leading up to something good, and then like they switch it to a scene and I'm like, man, that was a very Western-esque like take on like how to resolve this certain thing at this part of this movie. But like overall, like it did have like, and then like I said, like you guys said, like didn't really feel like a Marvel movie, oddly enough. So that's kind of like
And
my no
yeah, I feel
spoiler.
like that can also play off of this is you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the character that we're not very as familiar with the others.
Oh no, definitely.
Like,
yeah,
so
I
it's
never
not,
heard of this character until like
so this
movie,
character, I was like, whoa, dude, I'm so lost. Like, my knowledge is like Iron Fist, but like this guy I've never heard of, like Shang-Chi. So, you know, I was open to like who is he and like what he does and stuff. So, yeah, that was there, but it didn't like reach my, I guess, expectation of a Marvel film in a way, just because
Who directed it? You know,
it wasn't like I don't know, Dennis something.
no, it's that's he did. I think he did Just Mercy. I think.
Oh,
Our
he
boy.
did.
Yeah. Destin Daniel Cretin. I'm
Yeah.
butchering that.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know he's from Asian descent, but like Kyle said, it did feel kind of westernized. Like again, the tropes were there. I did mention Forbidden Kingdom, so it kind of felt like that, honestly. So that's where I stand with the movie. But Jan did bring up some good points of you know, the martial arts were pretty cool to see, and like Crouching Tiger, like you know when they were fighting and stuff, like at the near end, or we get a backstory of stuff like we get these cool movie fight scenes or kung fu scenes that I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, it has its goods, it has its bads, but that's like my initial, you know, take on it. Did you guys want to get into spoiler territory, or
let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. So we're just gonna
shit.
we're gonna give you guys like a 10-second
So,
countdown?
yeah. This is for
Okay,
like
so
people that haven't watched yet. Just tune out.
Yeah.
Skip 10 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just to make sure that, like, okay, so we're gonna talk spoilers now. Jan, you want to start us off with the spoilers?
Um. Well, yeah, I don't know. I liked the cast, man. I really liked the. It's not even really spoilers what I'm saying, but like, yeah, I liked Simu Liu in the role. I think he did really well. He's really like charismatic, and he for what he was given, he was fine. But I just wish his arc, and I feel like both of their arcs, like him, Aquafina, um, I just wish their arcs were a little more fleshed out in the
Yeah,
film because I
it
felt
was
like
Simu
yeah.
was basically playing Jung, honestly. Dude, I was like, hey, this is
Well, yeah,
Jung traits right now.
kind of, but I knew what they were going for, and like, and I see like I liked how subtle it was, and I liked how they were showing like his backstory like intertwined with the present events, and I don't know if I just wanted it like to where I wanted to see all that before the actual story or whatever. I just didn't. I wish there was more to it. I don't know. I just wish there was more to his arc that for me personally, because I feel like I wasn't connecting with it as well as like Black Panther or like that arc and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
and I like Tony Lung. That guy. Honestly, I'm sad
Tony
that he
is
died.
great.
I was sad
Yeah,
that
it
he
was
died.
pretty good.
Yeah, and the whole Mandarin thing and how he was the actual Mandarin or he is the actual
He
Mandarin.
is. Oh, dude,
Yeah,
it's just kind of crazy how like after so many years, like he's there. I was like, oh my god, like oh, it's him again.
we finally get the Mandarin. Yeah. Oh, and
yeah.
yeah, and yeah, like
Dude,
Trevor.
he literally stole the show. So Ben Kingsley, I'm not sure if that was like, I think that's spoiler because I'm not sure
That's
if they
hundred
like,
I
percent
mean,
spoiler.
we're
yeah.
spoiler
So
already.
That's spoiler.
No, I'm just making sure because that's why I didn't want to say it in the beginning. But Ben Kingsley like literally killed his role and freaking this
And
movie, in my
Morris.
opinion. Like freaking he made me laugh like the most. Like Trevor, like anything he said, you'll be laughing with
Mm.
all like when he was talking to that Karibo looking thing, and
I
like all those
so
other
it's
things,
so
like, oh,
funny.
I'm just lying down,
Karibo.
like I'm just gonna pretend I'm dying, okay, but I'm
Uh,
not dead. So like anything he was
so
saying
if you
was
want
like
full
instant
spoilers,
laughter for sure.
yeah,
So
with what Aaron
I
said.
Mhm.
yeah,
Sorry.
so like he killed his role. The martial arts scene that we're referring to is the bus scene. I know that it's kind of clipped on the on Marvel's own already. So if you haven't seen that clip, it's very, I know Jan, you mentioned it was like when we were talking, it was the Jackie Chan stunt team like
Was
doing it,
it?
I think. I thought you said that, like,
Oh no! I was saying it was Jackie Chan esque in the way he was
oh,
acting
okay.
during
Oh, okay, yeah, dude, that
the
the bus scene totally felt Jackie Chan
The flashy
esque.
jacket,
yeah, and the
all
jacket,
the
the way he would just
twerks.
put it back on.
Yeah,
It's like
like it was
holy,
super small. It was
that
super
was
small, but
smooth.
you're like, oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I wanted to see more of that, but
Mhm.
like what we said earlier, it got too fantastical, and like it got into like
The
dancing
Ten Rings and all that.
choreography and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the
So
whole flying thing. I was like, oh man, I wish they brought back like the Jackie Chan esque
I think it
fighting
was because
throughout
it
the
was
movie.
more grounded in the first scene. Like it was just them actually fighting. There wasn't anything else to it. Like it was just the
Mm,
choreography, and I think that's what kind of captivated me.
yeah,
Because I do miss actual like martial arts films. Like we don't really get much of that these days. In terms of like, like the big epics, like martial art epics. Like because I'm
yeah.
pretty sure like Jackie Chan's already old, and there's not much that come along anymore. Like
who's
we don't really
next? Who's
have.
next?
Yeah, exactly. Like we don't have like any new ones coming up. And yeah, that whole scene was really great, and I thought Aquafina was actually really good. Like I honestly thought she was gonna be out of place, and I
Mm,
really liked her character in it. I do like her arc. It's just that, like I said, I wanted it more fleshed out a little bit, and it kind of felt weird. Like I just her whole like I don't know like where it ended up at the end. Like was it like the archery thing or
yeah.
like is that what like her true calling or something? I don't I really don't know
No,
where
I
it ended
think it
up.
was like a symbolism of like, how like the mom
Like
wanted
shooting,
her
right?
to, yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
shoot your shot, but she
shoot
wasn't
your
shooting
shot.
her shot. Yeah,
No,
because
I get
like the
it.
mom,
Yeah.
yeah,
I just didn't. I wanted more out of it. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, the sister was a badass. Actually, I like the sister a lot too. and that last post credit scene with her just on the fucking throne, like taking over the 10 rings, that was badass. I thought she
That
was
was
really cool.
badass, but I felt like it
Yeah.
was expected.
No, yeah, it was expected. And
Yeah, see,
the only thing
and
that I hate, about it is
am I the
like,
only one that hates that that was the after credit?
yeah, I hated that too.
I hated it.
you
I
didn't like
hated
it?
it.
I thought it was
No,
fine.
No,
no.
here's my reason why I hated it. Because everyone was hyping that end credit scene. Like on TikTok, everyone like that watched it like in advance, they were hyping like, dude, that end credit will blow your mind. I'm like, bro,
I'm
that's
pretty
like
sure. I
that
thought
was
they were talking
expected.
about. I'm pretty
No,
sure they
that's
were
why
talking.
the mid credit, right? The mid credit
Yeah, I thought
did
it was the
better
mid
than
credit
the end credit,
that they were talking
in my
about.
opinion. So
Yeah, 100%.
when because everyone kept saying like the end credit like is badass. I'm like, bro, that they should have shown that at the mid credit,
And
then switched it
yeah.
out. Then I
If
would
they
hop on
switched
it.
it,
But
if they switched around, then it kind of would made me feel better. But then like that end credit kind of left like a bad aftertaste.
Not for me. I thought it was fine the way it
it's
was
good
because
to
yeah.
I
to
guess
expand
I guess a
his
lot of it too is kind of like we've been spoiled from Marvel of like the after credit is like it'll be like like suspenseful towards
I
like
mean, but you
anything
don't
next.
think that this has any kind of repercussions? Like you know how they kind of mentioned, like yeah, she's over there, she's disbanding the
Oh, that
10
she's
rings,
gonna be
but in
back. Like
general,
okay,
she's the
like
one in charge of the fucking 10 rings, and they're gonna.
yeah, I
And
mean
the fact that they put the 10 rings will return and not Shang-Chi will return is kind of like a big indicator of like, yeah, these guys will play a big ass part in Phase 4. You don't get that feeling, or
no, I felt like that was like like you didn't have to like put it in my face.
I guess
Like I felt like if you were
Mm.
gonna include this story arc within the main like the main storyline of like how the cinematic universe is set up, um, I feel like you didn't have to like show that to my face and just show it like in the phases and be like, oh shit, like who's this? Like X and Y, like oh like this connects to Shang-Chi and stuff. So like I just felt like it just wasn't appropriate for how a post credit should have felt.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was great. I thought it was fine.
I
Yeah. The
think
only thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just think that credit again, it felt expected, and it just felt like there is going to be a Shang-Chi 2 or something. That's where my mind was going when I saw that. Like, oh, there's the next villain, the sister. So
I don't know if she's gonna be the villain. I just think it has some like. The only thing that breaks my heart about that whole scene, or like, because it's not the Mandarin anymore, and I really really liked Tony Leung, the
yeah,
dad, in
he
that
like
role.
killed his role.
And I was really annoyed when he when he died. I was like, God damn it, dude! That's like the one thing I liked about this movie right now, or like the one thing that I was really loving about the movie. And they.
So actually, speaking of that, so like I'll put my 2 cents in. I'll kind of split it between like what I liked and what I disliked. So what I really liked about the movie was like oddly enough was like for some reason the storyline for the mom.
The mom.
Yeah, like even though like she wasn't a main character, her storyline was just very like attracting to me, or like I was like kind of invested into her storyline. But what was annoying, it's like okay, cool, like she's gonna die regardless, right? Like it's been like fucking like it's part of the plot, like she's gonna die. But then the way how she died was super underwhelming, and I got like really mad.
Well,
You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know.
It's
I
like
felt like it tied into the arc of Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi's
Yeah,
character.
like
Yeah.
I felt like
yeah,
it
I
tied
mean,
into his arc, so
yeah,
like I thought it was
it kind
fine.
of it did, but I just felt well. I'm just saying that because I was invested into her character,
Like
like,
you were, yeah,
and I just
yeah.
like internally got disappointed. I'm be like, I know this is not the movie, but I
Mhm.
was just really sad because it happened. But like, I hated how it happened. So
Yeah.
that's
It's
what I
kind of
kind of like.
yeah. It's kind of funny because
So
like yeah, the villain, like the dad, like his arc or his that whole story is kind of like the heart of the film, or like the whole thing revolving like that revolves around the whole
Yeah, I kind
plot
of took it the
in a
other
way.
way. Where like, oh, I took it as the mom's plot or the driving story
I
to
guess.
make sure
Yeah.
that his story was more solid. When it
Right. Right.
transitioned.
Yeah.
But what I disliked about the movie was, like I said, with like the non-spoiler, like how there was this one scene where like they were at the river and they were talking, and like how like he's like he had this like confused face for like the first half of the movie. He was like, I hate my dad. Like I was like, he trained you to be assassin. Like you can't really hate him that much. Like there wasn't like a real reason to hate him. it felt like, aside from like the upcoming of like the mom and like kind of revealing that later on as to like the driving force, but it just didn't play out like that throughout the whole movie. Because then like midway through, he's like, oh yeah, this is my dad and this is what he did, and like beat up the guys that killed my mom. I'm gonna kill him. I'm like,
That's
that was like
not the
that's.
only reason. I felt.
I
I
know.
think
It
I'm
just
pretty
felt.
sure you
I
were
don't
just like,
know.
I
Overanalyzing it.
no, because I'm pretty sure I thought he had a good enough reason. Dude, he literally just trained him for that alone, and like the fact that he got to go away and like just go on off on his own for like 10 years. It's kind of I like that aspect too when the dad was like, when I gave you your 10 years, I knew you left. I know where you were.
No, but yeah.
I
So
let
I
you
see.
have it.
Like it felt like they did that just to absolve like holes in the story.
I don't
Mm,
know.
I don't know. I might be
Uh,
overthinking it. It's just
yeah,
like I was like,
maybe.
maybe
Just a
yeah,
I don't know.
little.
too much, too much.
I thought it was fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
His
I thought
reasoning
it was
behind it.
fine.
Yeah, it just felt rushed-ish. A little.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know what it
yeah.
was about it
I'd
that felt
say
rushed.
a good word's like
Yeah.
rushed. Like it kind of like his like what's his name? What's his, the
Shang-Chi.
dad? No, the
Oh, the
dad. The dad's
Mandarin?
story. No,
We'll
yeah.
just
Wenwu?
call him.
Like
We'll
his
just call him
story.
yeah.
Wenwu.
Wu. Yeah.
Yeah, like his
Wenwu.
story was very aggressive in terms of like, hey,
Um.
like he's this kind of guy. And then there's like parts of the no, but like there are parts in the movie like they leveled him, and he would go back to be like, hey, remember who I am? Be like they level him again, and then like towards the ending, it's like, okay, like we leveled him again, or like we grounded him as a villain, and like it made sense.
mm.
Mm.
I liked what both of you said. Like the villain was really good. Like you get his story. Then you know Shang-Chi, like his story was pretty good as well. But overall we agreed that it was pretty rushed because I felt that. And I know we said like it loses its Marvel esque
Wow.
in it loses its Marvel esque when you're watching it. I don't know. That's me. The only
That's
time
a good word.
I felt Marvel was when you saw Abomination and Wong. And
I
what got me?
I I don't know. I feel the other way. Honestly, I felt like it got
Oh,
more. I felt like it dialed like it really like got a lot of like the Marvel tropes like by the last half for me.
I guess like again where I'm coming from, it's like I'm just watching Forbidden Kingdom. I'm watching Forbidden Kingdom, then I'm trying to attach it to a Marvel right away because he's
It's
literally
like
doing his own thing by himself, no help, no nothing. And they didn't even mention like an Avenger or something. Like, isn't this like Ant-Man? Ant-Man had that like, oh, he's doing his own thing, but he's like, isn't this
Mhm.
like an Avenger problem? Like Shang-Chi is like, oh, we're in a different realm, and like they didn't even like mention Doctor Strange or
I see.
something. He just like we're our own protectors. We don't like they didn't even say like we need the Avengers. It's just like we're our own protectors kind of thing.
Interesting,
So
interesting. Yeah, I see that.
when they brought Abomination and Wong come in, and like that whole scene where they're fighting and they're like, oh, you need more practice. That got me more curious. Like, oh, what the hell are they doing? Like, why is Wong practicing with Abomination?
Yeah, that was
Like,
cool.
see,
No,
so
yeah,
that
I was about to say like I was just like I was with Josh and I was like so like do superheroes just like do this on their spare time when they're not trying to save the world?
They're
yeah,
like
Like that
see,
was the
so
first thing
illegal
that
fights
came
and
to my
stuff.
thought.
like literally
Yeah,
Wong is doing his own thing. Like he's like making his own House of M or whatever. I don't know, like his own Avengers crew for some reason.
Yeah, I don't
And
know
I
what's
don't.
going on there. Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's
that
interesting.
that part like really was a question mark for me throughout the movie. Then after that part, it was just Forbidden Kingdom. Like okay, like this is
we can
happening.
kind of
Yeah.
split the movie in like the first half was just like it was super messy, but the second half was definitely like, hey, there's the Marvel movie of the movie,
I
the
like the
Marvel
first half
section.
better, to
Yeah,
be
the
honest.
first half was better. The first
I
half
thought the
was very
first half was
the
better
first
than.
half was like totally oh, I can hop on this Shang-Chi. Like this
Oh no,
first half
okay.
was
Oh,
Shang-Chi.
okay, yeah. So,
Then the
Mhm.
but
second half I was like, oh, this is Forbidden
I
Kingdom.
thought you meant where you were talking about like the theme or like the tone of the movie. Like I thought you were talking about like how there wasn't much of a Marvel tone. I felt like, dude, they kind of hammered it with the last half, to be honest, and that's
Yeah,
kind of why
I'll give it that. Yeah. The
I like
Marvel
the first
tone.
half better. Yeah, so
okay, I see
yeah,
that.
I don't know. That was just
I
me.
see that.
But am I the only one that's annoyed that like fucking what's his name? Abomination was in it for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I was annoyed
Like-
and like I was like, what the fudge?
what the fuck? Like that's it. Like I thought we were gonna get more out of him, but it's. I mean, like
And
what did I expect really
they literally hyped him up like when you first see
in
him.
the trailer, right?
Yeah, like
in-
all the news were saying like, oh, like he's been hiding for like this long, and like now we get to see what he's up to. And it's literally
yeah,
just that one scene.
they
Then
barely
that
touch up on it.
yeah,
But
so I was like,
yeah.
that was a. But hey, that's I guess it leads us to our next question is like, or not, I don't want to touch it yet, but the mid-credit scene, we talked about the mid-credit scene, not too much, but what are your thoughts on the mid-credit scene? Like that was very more attached to the Marvel timeline right now, when when Wong called him in, like, oh, you're part of a bigger world now. Like he literally gave the seal of approval. You're part of this
I mean,
Marvel
like
world.
what like me and Aaron talked about earlier. Like if they just switched like that ending or that like end like mid credit with like the after credit, I would have like liked it a little bit more.
I don't
But
know.
you
I feel
the
different,
order.
honestly. I kind of feel
Really?
different because the way they ended the movie, right? Didn't they end it like Wong
With
was
that
getting
one,
them?
yeah.
Yeah. So I felt like they needed to pick it up right away. That's kind of my thought process with that.
Mm,
That's why
I
they
see, I
faced
see.
it. I think it's
Yeah.
just the fact that it got hyped. That's why you guys are like a lot of us are disappointed. Or
I didn't hear any hype about the after credit.
no, yeah, I heard about it. Like people were cheering
didn't.
the fucking
Really?
festival, or like
Really?
or not festivals, but
Yeah.
like wherever they
What?
showed it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How
I thought it was
I
fine. I
think
thought it was good.
yeah,
I
I
liked
thought it
it.
was good. Like how like Kyle said it too, like the 10 rings, or Jan, you said it too, like the 10 rings was a very interesting tool, or like an interesting power, you know. And when Wong said it in the mid credit, like, oh, this power is like even older than your dad. And like you saw like that little like uh how would you say, like yellow dust that like turned into a string. I feel like that's an eternal weapon, because it kind of felt like, oh, it's gonna lead to Eternals, because how he said like, oh, this thing is older than your dad, and like what's older than your dad that we know so far is Eternals, because they've been there since the beginning of like civilization.
You think that's where they're heading?
Yeah, so I think that's
Wow.
the connection I was trying to make with that, like, you know, that trend and like that pulsing thing that was revealed in the 10 ring. So
So I was talking to my friend, the other Josh. He was kind of explaining to me how like the colors, cause like you know how like it's like they're really just setting up the multiverse. Cause like if you think of the colors of like where the Guardians are, so like you know like New York, Bangkok, and then where was this in San Francisco kind of thing.
Bangkok.
Like
Mhm.
they're setting up the multiverse just cause it's like oh like these realms that all got destroyed or like tried to get destroyed and like the protectors. So like you know like Doctor Strange, like the light was like purple.
Mhm.
And that purple like light got like featured into this film. So like they're like trying to tie like this multi-universe, but then there's like this big villain of like, yo, it's this purple light. Like I mean not so, but like it's like a small signal as to like what's coming and like what the multiverse is having to set up for with like a giant villain.
So talking about the mid credits, right? Or in general, like
No, in general, just like
oh,
small things. Because I was like, he was like, oh, like you know what that light is? I was like, no, what do you mean? And he was just kind of like, oh, like each realm has like a different light.
like
I
a
don't know if it
color.
was.
Oh, I never
Yeah,
picked up
yeah,
on
like
that.
it's
Yeah.
something like I would never have thought of, and I was like, okay, and he's like, yeah, like in the comics they kind of like set it up like that way, to where, like each realm is protected by different, like you know, by different sections, and
Right.
it's all a setup to be like, hey, multiverse of this realm is controlled by one person. Someone's
yeah,
missing in this realm. It's still
name
that
is
person.
his name
It's
is
kind of it's
Uwatu.
called to yeah, huh?
Kang. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
I was kidding.
Owatu,
yeah.
the
So
Watcher.
it's kind of like
The
going
Watcher.
down the rabbit hole of multi-universe
Yeah,
theorizing. So
For me, honestly, I don't know if I thought about the multiverse in any way in this movie. I didn't even really like the whole mid credits. I didn't know where it was going. Honestly, I just I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, I don't know what that is, and I'll find out whenever whatever comes out. I like this is like the first time where I'm not like trying to like analyze, because you know how like the Infinity Saga is like we know where it's heading. It's Thanos, and we know, like, I know we have an idea of like Kang the Conqueror and like multiverses and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I didn't really like watch the mid credits, the mid credit thing, thinking like, shit, what does it tie into? Does it tie into Eternals or whatever?
Oh, you didn't think that? You didn't think
Yeah.
that mid credit? Because like that's what I was trying to think of instantly as soon as I saw the mid.
Yeah.
No, because I was just watching it. I was curious, and I was just like, "Oh wow, okay." So I wonder where that's going. You know, and I didn't really like think about it at the time.
I'm surprised you thought of it that way.
Honestly, like I'll try and end it here, but like, I feel like Marvel's in this territory where our nerd knowledge stops. Like everything right now is free game.
It's new.
Everything phase 3 always was we know what's happening next. And I remember times that I don't know, I just like theorizing the end credit because I'm like my memories are flashing. Like I remember when we used to all watch together, you guys would always ask me like, "Hey Aaron, what does that mean?" So like I kind of had like that thing like, "Oh man, they really think I know everything."
Now you can't explain anything.
I can't really explain. So I'm like in your boat. So
I don't know, bro.
Yeah. So
but
this
stars, dude.
Yeah. So
you
that's
explain your story. It's like it could be that too. It's like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So hey, that's basically what. But again, I'm just tying it towards the next movie. I'm not like thinking far beyond because everything's free game from now on. Because I don't know anything right now. past Thanos, I don't know anything.
I'll say this though, I am excited for the future. I you know, it's kind of like I remember I told you guys after Endgame, I'm like, I'm kind of like, I'm done. I feel like I don't have the energy to be like, hey, fuck, there's a new Marvel coming out. Let's go watch the premiere. And you know, like going out of our way.
It's kind of like the Harry Potter thing where like, yo, like Harry Potter after 7, it's done. But then like you got like Fantastical Beasts, and you're like, eh.
Yeah, so like I was there, like I was already at that point, like where like I didn't really care as much anymore because I felt like I got a good conclusion with like Endgame. But you know, I'm at least a little excited, you know, with Shang-Chi and the way that this story played out and the new characters, and I like Simu Liu in the role. I like him a lot.
The new upcoming cast.
I'm really excited for them. So yeah, I'll give them that. I can't wait to see what else comes next. And I know we have Eternals in November and whatever other show comes out.
Spider-Man. What are you talking about? You got Spider-Man to finish us off for this year.
Oh yeah, true.
Eternals and Spider-Man.
I know, but they better show Toby. So you know,
I'm still and Kyle, anything else you want to just close it off since me and Jan said our piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, like I said, like you know, like with the whole multiverse thing, like definitely, it's pretty exciting just to see like how things play out, and it's like at this point, like you know, like how well are they gonna stick to making things canon and like expecting where things are going because of like whole multiverse. So, it's kind of a territory where it's like unexplored. Like you don't know, like no one in movies has been like, like we can span this entire series for the next 20 years. You know what I mean? Like that. Like no one has ever like dabbled in that. Most cases are not. It's like almost like Top Gun. It's like look, watch Top Gun 2, but this one's like shit. There's like 10 movies. Like what are we gonna do?
I'm at that point where like, are they gonna reboot this soon? But like, no, they're moving forward.
Rebooting it. That's how they're rebooting it. Just by, like just dishing
it'll
out
come,
different things.
just not now. Yeah, it'll come, just not now. I feel like
that's kind of like my final thoughts on that.
So with that said, that's our spoiler, or that's our review on Shang-Chi. If you guys haven't watched it, you guys can totally catch it in the movies. Thank you for listening to our Spit Talk review podcast. Catch us on our next episode. Follow us on Twitter at Spit Talk Podcast for any updates. Once again, we are Aaron, Jan, and Kyle. See you guys.
Bye.